Many electronic typewriters that you can find in the market today nowadays use a mechanism which is known as the daisy wheel mechanism. A daisy wheel typewriter contains one of these things, which are known as a daisy wheel. These type wheels usually contain petals that are located at the edge of the daisy wheel, and each of these petals contains a particular character that has been molded in plastic on these petals. So when the typewriter is typing, when you press a key on the typewriter, the wheel spins to the correct position, and an electronic hammer actually hammers one of these plastic wheels onto the paper so that your text will be printed on the piece of paper. What is noteworthy about one of these typewriters is that there are often times when you use one of these machines, you will notice that there's a bit of latency, or there's a tendency for this typewriter to fall out of sync with your typing. So sometimes, in particular, if you're typing a particular sequence of characters, your typing may be consistent, but the print hammer doesn't seem to match or synchronize with your finger movements. This is a problem that is usually noteworthy in more portable typewriters such as this one over here, where the typing speed is rather limited. Typewriters like this one, which is able to type at a much faster rate, you often don't really feel that latency, but it's still present over here. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some of these typewriters in action. What I've done so far for each of these typewriters is that each of these typewriters contain some electronic memory that is capable of remembering a certain sequence of characters. I first select characters that are located on the opposite end of the wheel, so it causes the wheel to spin at 180 degrees, which is the maximum that each of these typewriters have to spin the wheel in order to reach the next character. Doing so will cause the typewriter to type at its slowest possible rate. By reducing the angle gradually to 45 degrees, 22.5 degrees, and so on, I'm able to make the typewriter type at a much faster rate until it hits its maximum typing speed. With that out of the way, just sit back and relax, and we'll take a look at some of these models over here. So, what can you do to reduce the amount of latency in each of these typewriters? Well, there isn't really much that one can do because the typing speed and how fast each of these typewriters work is based on the nature of the machine itself. But if you're shopping for one of these electronic typewriters and you're worried that the latency would sort of damage the typing experience, there are several strategies that you can use in order to reduce this latency. The first one, of course, is to get a proper electronic typewriter. So some of the typewriters that you can purchase in order to help to reduce this latency is these desktop typewriters. I find that typewriters such as the IBM Wheelwriter tends to have a very good response rate, and the latency is very short or very small as compared to other electronic typewriters that I've used before. But in general, usually a desktop typewriter tends to have more responsiveness as compared to a portable typewriter. If you have to purchase a portable typewriter because of space, or if it is the only typewriter available, try to find one such as this one, which contains a LCD display present on the machine, such as like this one over here. In this way, you can do your typing very quickly on the electronic memory. Then after that, when you want to print out the information, you can just simply ask the typewriter to print, and the typewriter would print accordingly. Therefore, the noise produced by the typewriter hammering away will not disturb your flow of typing. If, however, you're unable to find a machine that has any memory or LCD displays, well, I guess the other way is to simply try your best to type without using any audio feedback. In other words, type by feeling the tactility of the keyboard rather than from the noise that is produced from the machine, which is a little bit difficult considering how noisy some of these machines could be. Other ways that you can perhaps reduce the latency, of course, is to deactivate certain special features that the typewriters have. For instance, I've heard that for one way is that you can actually turn off some of the spell checking features in order to help to speed up the typewriting experience. So that's it for the moment. If I have any other machines to add to this collection, I will update this video shortly. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Do let me know down in the comments what other topics you would like to explore in electronic typewriters. And with that said, thank you and have a pleasant evening.